And now we are empowering the IT graduates. This particular discussion. Let's get into this discussion with the Minister of ICT Cavendish, that is Mr. Bakiza Asher. Rather, let's review this. All right, welcome to Smart Main's Business on Ground. I'm Anju Barije, and today we are discussing the aspect of the IT graduates. And of course, recently, most universities have been, students have been graduating at the different universities, government, private universities, and of course, they are doing various courses. And now this is a very important time of life whereby as a student, you're going to be tested on what you've been studying. How best are you going to put it out there? A job sometimes may not be as available as you might assume, and sometimes things may not go as you really anticipate. But then you have to, at the end of the day, you still have to survive. So today, I'm joined with the Minister of ICT at Cavendish University, that is Mr. Bakiza Asher, as we are going to study and of course discuss how IT graduates can use their skills to impact the society, and despite the fact that they may not be in position to get the available jobs that they hope to get. Mr. Bakiza, welcome on SMB on Ground. Now getting straight to the point of you are doing journalism, but you have an aspect of IT and you're the IT minister. Now, IT graduates, what is the message that you have for them? How best can they use the skills they have acquired to impact society out there?
Oh, thanks very much indeed for having me here. Very good morning to you. Well, first off, let me appreciate those that indeed managed to make it through and at least maintain that capability of striving hard to complete their studies, whether it's 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, or 4 year. I think when you're at university, the first thing you should be looking at is attainment of skills or acquiring skills. And if at all you get to graduate without any kind of skill, whether related to IT or any other aspect, then you're really in the wrong position. If not, you might find hard time making it through. But for the graduates, IT graduates or ICT graduates, I really believe that getting to learn how this world is like currently, because we live in a digitalized kind of world, a technological world, that even though you run where, it will keep following you, it will haunt you. You need those skills. You need to know how the media runs. You need to know how this technology runs. You need to know how these basic kind of things work, like smartphones, because that's where things start from. You don't need to first look at attending a laptop or a desktop or something else, but how you able to utilize the resources that are really near you to achieve something much more better. Yeah. So the graduates out there, I believe the years of study didn't go of waste. They learned 1 or 2 things that indeed they can put on table. Currently, we live in a world of a world where organizations, companies, and other businesses look at skills more. Live alone these days, where things, where these people, the interviewees or the interviewers, used to base on qualifications. That's papers. I have papers. I have A plus, B, and then when they get to ground, when you get on ground, when you get to the workplace, you are unable to bring out that that skill or that kind of thing to equivalent and represent your qualifications. So the skills indeed are much more required. And indeed the IT personnel, because now they are professionals, they are done with university. Yeah. So they should, based on this, be able to utilize the resources they have. That is a smartphone. Right now, social media is the way to go. Like, you don't need to first, get done with school or get done with any kind of thing, learning. Then you go on, haunting, companies or organizations or businesses, like looking for jobs. You need to first use or utilize those things you have. Now, like a smartphone, there is internet. You can, set up something. You can manage anything. You can manage a social media handle. You can manage a lot of things with the phones here. Yeah, right indeed. Yes, basing on the fact of of the smartphones. I want to first base on the smartphones before I go on, on the bigger picture of laptops or what, the smartphones. The question is, you a graduate, right? But how do you use a smartphone? Do you just use it to, watch TikTok videos, or do you use it to gain more, much more equivalent skills? Right, indeed. So you need to be able to ask yourself such questions. Okay, I'm done with school, right? But what's the way to go? What's the goal? Am I just going to, take this paper to my parents, to my siblings, or whatever kind of caretaker, and tell them I'm done, and then I end it there? Or I'm going to stand up and, strive hard, to further these, to further what, I have in mind and heart. Yeah.
Now, very interesting. You talked about skills, that these graduates should be equipped with skills. Do you really think the universities have given these skills out to people, that apart from just the IT knowledge best, but skills and tricks and, let me say, tactics to solve even day-to-day problems, which are quite, because if you can solve those, you can definitely solve the IT problems. But starting with those, do you really think the universities have done enough to equip these skills to the students?
Definitely yes. To a large extent, let me just base on that. It's a typical yes. The university, you can never spend 1 year, the second year, the third year without, telling me that the university has not, given you what you want. The first question is, what did you really want when you entered, when you went to that course? Because if at all you realize your purpose and you realize, you have goals and objectives, then you're able to work towards achieving them. So with the university, indeed, the university gets to spot out those that are really interested in learning, yeah. And of course, there are also those that just, study for the sake of studying and, end it there. They're also quite left out because they don't show that passion and interest in that. But then to those that really have the interest and passion, indeed, are able to benefit from this program. The university, I should say, it provides a lot of platforms like, creation of groups. Yeah. And with these groups, they indeed, clubs or groups, they're able to connect students, a lot of students. And you can't tell me that you don't know something and you just, cross your arms and be like, no, okay, I don't know something, let me just end it there. But rather, when you realize that you don't know a skill, or you don't know how, something, you don't know how to operate something, then you're able to connect with a person that is able to, that you see has the knowledge about it. So with the university, indeed, putting the education aside, all the learning programs in lecture rooms, even on the outside world. Outside there, I don't mean outside the university, but rather, outside the lecture rooms, are able to, put those good engagements with the students. So it's with the students, because you can never force a horse to go to a well, or and then force it to take water. But rather it's with the students to indeed, pick up, have the interest, have the passion with it. Trust me, if at all you have those two things, nothing can really fail you out. Yeah. So the universities have done a great job, I should say.
Okay, now there is the university doing the great job, but now let's look at the side of the students. Are they interested in obtaining these skills?
Well,
according to your observation.
Okay. Yeah, according to my observation, to some extent, indeed the university students indeed show some interest in that. But then where they get to be scrapped off, or they get to be demoralized, is that there are some students out there that, okay, the graduates, they've managed to study for over 2, 3 years or 4 years, but then, are let down by resources. And resources, I mean, at having at hand a laptop, those professional, resources that, having a computer. So at times, okay, they really want to learn and they have that zeal, but they are let down by some resources. And then you'll find that a lot of people come from different kind of family backgrounds. There are some that come from rich backgrounds and others from, humble families. So you will find that the humble, those people that come from humble families or humble backgrounds, they are, quite let down. Yeah, they want to learn, but, they don't have that, they don't have that money to at least to further them up with attainment of, such equipment. Yeah. But the students, indeed, I should say, have shown some interest. As I'm okay, basing on the factor of ICT minister as I think with even these engagements that I do make with different students, I see that there are some that really, have their course at heart. Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at, away from that, for the IT graduates, what are those areas that they should really put focus that need solutions? What are those answers that they should answer? What are those sectors that you feel need answers from these graduates?
Well, thank you. Right now, a person needs to be a problem solver. Not a seeker of jobs or seeker of what problem can you solve? Businesses are out there, but how are they run? How are they run? Of course, they use these IT, they use the technology. You can't run away from that. So the question is, what can you really do as a person, as a graduate? Can you be able to operate a computer? Well, you can, can you be able to, know how things run? You can't tell me that you an ICT or IT graduate and you don't know how a CPU looks like. You don't know how to operate it. You don't know how to you don't know how to operate a desktop. You don't know how to handle phones. Like phones. I don't mean just operating them. You're not an engineer. You're not a mechanic, but rather the internal system, the software. So I think the graduates out there, right? Need to ask themselves these questions and then answer them accordingly with the rightful answers. Like, okay, I'm a graduate, right? But I can be able to I know how the phone works, not just putting on data, go on social media and then see those funny comments and you also make fun of them or you call. No, can you go further than that? Can you go further than a student that hasn't studied IT? Right, we use the same gadgets, but the way we use them really differs. Yeah. So those are some of the issues that indeed that they need to put at hand. And on the other hand is they need to be able to engage more. Like can they, when they're put into discussion, can they build up something? Can they build up programs? We take a look at Mark Zuckerberg, the way he started Facebook. Like, I was even reading it somewhere, and I really got surprised that he started Facebook in he just started it for at least to engage with his friends. But right now, it's amongst the most used applications and so they need to be able to seek more guidance. They need to seek more seek more knowledge, because it just doesn't end at university level, but rather you need to be one of the best, if to be at least able to put something that is way more equivalent and more effective at hand.
Maybe finally your last remarks to the graduates.
Well, right now this world is a bit it's a bit chaotic in some or the other, but then what I can tell, what I can say to them is they shouldn't be driven away by these mere things like the chasing off work, chasing off jobs. No, you need to start up with what you have at hand. You can't tell me that you have a laptop, you have a smartphone, and there are some that also have desktops, and then they can't do something. You need to really effectively use the resources next to you, so that people can be able to support you. Because right now there are people there in organizations, companies, or businesses, whatever, that look at a person that can be able to put on table a good equivalent skill or a good effective skill, not just coming to an interview and they're like, I want a job but I can't do this. Can you do this? So you need to be multi-skilled, not just based on IT and I can operate this, but what can you do more? Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Makiza. It's been good to have you on SMB on Ground. Well, it's the ICT Minister Cavendish University, and that's been the message to the graduates, IT graduates, of course, empowering you to ensure that despite the fact that you graduated, you need to be skillful, you need to have something. Maybe some of the few highlights of the interview. of course, mentioning something that start with what you have as a graduate. You know, it's very absurd for you to be an IT graduate and somebody who doesn't have the knowledge of IT knows more about the computer you studied than you. He knows more about the smartphone, knows how he can make money with a smartphone more than you who did IT. So that should be a challenge to you, and that in that way, as you challenge yourself, you will be of great impact. And also, remember to answer, to solve problems. Yes, to solve problems. There are answers. There are questions that really need answers, and you're the answer. Always think about that. But also embrace university project, which involves skilling. In that way, you will be a unique IT student, not just a normal graduate. SMB on ground, Andrew Barije. Well, very interesting insight in there. Of course, report towards the graduate when I happened to be at the university right there interacting with the ICT minister. And of course, a lot has been said. I won't repeat that again. You've heard it all. What they should be done, what you need to do. You know, you get to understand what you really need to do for you to make it through. Well, it's exactly 50 past 9 a.m. and we've come to the end of the show. And of course, very, very grateful from where we started from at 7 a.m. All the way till this very time. And of course, coming up is financial markets and quite more informative and educative programming coming on the way. Stay tuned to Smart 24 TV. Of course, we still bring you those latest updates from all around the world in all, of course, the basic languages which are spoken that is within the country. And don't forget channel 394, that is on GOTV, and channel 372 DSTV. And on our social media handles at Smart 24 TV on Twitter, Smart 24 TV official on Facebook, and Smart 24 TV Live, as you'll be able to get us at whatever part of the country or the globe that you will be at as we deliver to you the business updates. Till tomorrow, good morning.